Hello, welcome to Your Sovereign Soul. My name is Sienna, and I am one of the coaches here, along with an energy worker at YourSovereignSoul.com. So today's video is about red flags. And now, everyone who is chancing upon this video knows all about red flags. I mean, this is not a new thing. It's a kind of a coin wordage that we're using in our society at this time, like watch out for people exhibiting signs of red flags. And it's gotten a little bit crazy because the reality is that every relationship you get into, there will be some form of compromise. And what would be a general red flag to some people may not be it to others. Like to me, a red flag would be if I met some guy. Now this might be more of a yellow flag, and I don't want to get into semantics here, but a yellow flag would be like maybe he's really, really messy. But in my world, that's kind of a red flag too. Like I wouldn't want to be with someone who's really messy. Whereas someone who's maybe really messy isn't concerned about a guy or a girl who is a little messy, because to them that's just comfortable. But when we're talking about red flags in the context of this communication, it is people who are exhibiting things that are essentially not healthy for any type of relationship. We're talking gaslighting, we're talking manipulation, we're talking love bombing excessively, which could be excessive flattery. We're talking, which ends up, it sounds great, but it ends up being sandwiched with devaluation. So those are something, we're talking about infidelity, we're talking about verbal, physical, emotional abuse. Pretty much anything that doesn't feel nice and cozy and happy within a relationship, that is probably a red flag to a degree. And obviously the more on one end of the spectrum, which is the infidelity, the physical, mental, emotional abuse, those are obviously no-goes and should be no-goes for any relationship. But this communication is about the fact that a lot of us who have been in a previous narcissistic or toxic relationship feel that we are, especially if we've had some time alone to focus on ourselves, and as I've said many times in all my videos, be one with the dark side of your soul and have to look at yourself and have to really purge all those emotions that have been stored during that relationship, and really kind of unlock a side of yourself that wasn't there previously. Perhaps you think that when you get back into the dating world, whether it's online dating or you're just meeting people at random places that inspire you or whatnot, you got this. Like you're like, man, I can smell these toxic people from like miles away. Like I've got like extra sensory abilities with this. And I went through that. You think I'm going to go through that shit again? Hell no. Like I'm going to teach all my peeps, like, don't do these things, because I'm like a pro, and if you're like me, and I know this is a word that people talk about all the time, you're empathic, which means you're more of a highly sensitive person, which is what I am, being an energy worker and being able to sense things and so on and so forth, and being a healer for as long as I have been. You would think I am excellent at this, especially having gone through what I went through. But let me tell you, I am still a little grasshopper. And the reason being is because I think there's many things, and perhaps you'll resonate with this as well. But it is that you feel that if you love a person enough, or you give them enough time, or you allow them, their indiscretions to a degree, knowing that we're all human and none of us are perfect, that they're going to be okay and everything will be okay. But the reality is that red flags are pretty much shown right off the bat in any new, potential relationship. Red flags are hard to be hidden because they're very evident. These people, these toxic people, and I'm going to say that loosely because I don't know what they are, but they show their colors very, very quickly on. This is not something that you need to take your magnifying glass out and be like, what is this person? No, this person is a toxic person, and they will show you their colors right away while glamorizing themselves at the same time. But it will be evident. And you will sense it because your intuition will be boo, boo. And no one that I have spoken to has told me that they did not know that the person they were dealing with was toxic from the beginning. They knew that there was something amiss. There's no secrets. But of course, these people are good people, or they're hopeful, or they've been lonely for too long, or but they've got all these other great traits. Like, they're handsome, or they're beautiful, or they've got an amazing body, or whatever it is. So they, like I said, they sweep these red flags under the mat. And I will tell you that I am so good at this. Like, I am like a pro. And even though my best intention is to not do this and to trust that I know what I'm doing, there is obviously still a very strong aspect of myself that allows this bad behavior. And I think it's deeper. It's like a core situation within yourself that you are okay, not even okay, but that you accept this. And I don't know if it's because you think that there is not much possibility of a normal person who's just a good person out there, because you know that we're all capable of thinking and doing things that are maybe not wholesome within a relationship. And so you know that, man, you're a really good person and you still have that potential to doing that. Man, if someone's even a little bit less good of a person as you, then like you're screwed. And so there's a part of you that's just like, well, F it. Like, I'm just going to have to accept what I get because we live in a really messed up world. But I'm going to tell you that doesn't work. And it doesn't work because you will once again start losing yourself. And it may mean that you are alone for a while. And I hate to say this, but maybe forever. I mean, I've had to look at that myself and be like, man, would I be okay with being alone for the rest of my life? Or would I be willing to accept someone who is, toxic just to have companionship? And it's a hard nut to crack because you want companionship on this planet, you want to share your life with someone. But I think our lesson here as spiritual beings is to really realize that this time on this planet is but a blip. And even though when we're here, it feels like a very long time, it is a very, really short time in the whole of our souls. And so maybe our lesson really is to be a sovereign soul for ourselves and to really be okay with not accepting less than optimal treatment just for the sake of companionship. And so although you might feel that you are in the clear because you've already learned your lesson, so to speak, from your narcissistic ex, and I'm sure you learned a lot of lessons, but there is still a very high propensity that you may get into another relationship where you are ignoring those red flags. I know I have gone on quite a few dates with pretty much all but 10 of those gentlemen showed toxic behavior right off the bat. And this is not because I'm high maintenance or I have very high standards. This is what I have noticed. I mean, we're talking right off the bat. And I was very, very wise with, saying, nope, 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 but that doesn't always happen that way. You might go, man, I really like this person, so I'm going to stick with them a little bit longer, in hopes that something will change. But if they're going to show red flags right off the bat, they're not going to probably change. And that is who they are. They may try to hide it for you or from you so that They can stay with you longer. But the reality is, if they're exhibiting those red flags in the beginning, it tells you who they are. And they're not going to probably change. I'm sorry, they will not. The only one that's going to change is you. You're going to continue to lose more and more of yourself until you are really back to being an empty, hollow hole. And I wouldn't want that for you. And so this will be one of many videos on red flags. But this is just to say to you right now that if you're back in the dating world, you are not absolved from finding or pulling in another toxic person, because they're everywhere and there's a lot of them. And there's different degrees of toxicity in these people. And so when you're on this little dating journey and you meet someone that seems to check so many boxes, but man, they just said that or they just did that, and you feel it in your chest and it doesn't feel good and it feels like, oh, that prickly thing. Watch that. Because if it happens again, the likelihood is that you're with someone that is not going to work for you. No matter how hard you try to fit that puzzle piece in, it is not the right piece for you. And if I know anything, the pain of leaving these relationships is extremely hard. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And I wouldn't wish it on you to do it again to yourself or again. It is better that you stay in that place of self-sovereignty and focus on yourself and trust that you only should be with someone that sees your divinity, is kind, is loving, is respectful, and there is a reciprocality within that relationship. And if you can't find that right off the bat, give yourself time. Get back and immersed in your own life. Be the best version you can of yourself. It is not worth it. They show you their colors right off the bat. You know. You know. You know what they are. Don't start that dance with them. Like, don't. If you keep saying no, the universe will eventually drop you in that same person and you will feel peace with them. And that is what I want for you. Anyway, if you have any desire to talk to me or to Idonna, another coach on your sovereign soul, or do some energy work, all the information is below on our website. Do like this video. I would appreciate it. And I hope you're having a beautiful summer day.